Hello, everybody, and welcome back, or welcome to my channel. For today's video, we're going to be doing something very different from anything I've done before. As you can see, I have on my Chef Aaron apron, which was a gift for Christmas, and we are going to be doing some cooking. I have been vegan, lacto-vegan technically, because I do cheese and yogurt and dairy, but I avoid milk, so really I just do certain cheeses and yogurt. Ever since then, I've been eating really healthy, and I love it, and I feel really great, and I wanted to show you guys kind of something that I make pretty much every single week because I love it so much. This recipe comes from this book, this cookbook here, and I'll show you guys the recipe as well as the ingredients. Please ignore, I'm sure that the lighting is terrible, and this is going to be a whole process. I've never done this before, so I'm probably going to be messing with the cameras and the mics and all that stuff a lot too. But we'll figure it out as we go, and hopefully I can show you guys, how to make some good food here. Also, all of my ingredients that were in the fridge are basically frozen now, and I didn't realize it till I pulled them out that my fridge was set at the highest point. I have no idea how it got there. I don't know, but I think everything's going to be fine. But just know that if you hear white noise or the fridge, it's right here. So hopefully it calms down and stops doing that. But I'll play with it in editing and we'll see what we can do. But yeah, let's go ahead and get right into the video. Okay, I'm going to start by kind of just showing you some of the ingredients. The recipe is from the book, but it's also kind of just things that I've added over time, just because I like to get a little bit more veggies and a little bit more food in the pasta. So it's what we're making here is called the presto pesto penne, and I'll show you the recipe really quickly if anyone's interested. And that is what we're making here. It looks delicious. So I'm going to go over the ingredients that I have here. So I have some salt, some olive oil, garlic cloves, red onion, lemon, pine nuts. This pasta, you can do any sort of pasta. I just prefer the chickpea pasta because it's healthier and it's got a good bit of protein as well. And then, of course, you want some fresh basil, some tomatoes, and then this is kind of the stuff that I add. I do some shiitake mushrooms, and then these are the cherry tomatoes, bell peppers diced up, and then I'm going to use some broccoli, and this is the spinach and arugula. So I'm going to go ahead and get the camera put over here so you guys can kind of see me cutting up some stuff, and let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so keep in mind you do need either a blender or a food processor. Let's chop up and cut open the lemon here. And then the recipe calls for just 2 tablespoons, but I don't really know how to measure that, so I just squeezed the whole lemon in. Also, we are going to be doing a double batch because I'm going to do a cauliflower crust pesto pizza tomorrow. There's 1. And 2. Okay. Alright, next we're making here is the sauce, by the way. So I just want to cut up this tomato so it's a little bit easier for the blender. And the best part about this recipe is that it is so easy to make. And really fast as well. And incredibly healthy. the recipe calls for 1 tomato, and like I said, I'm doubling the recipe, but this other tomato isn't very big, so I'm just gonna throw it in there as well. And then I want to throw in the basil. And this is the interesting part, is that it calls for 2 cups. Oh, sorry, what does it say? Yeah, 2 cups of fresh sweet basil. But I really don't have any idea how you measure 2 cups of basil. So I kind of just eyeball it, and usually I'll throw in the whole pack. Because is it, is 2 cups of basil, is that it, pressed into a cup? Is that it just like, you know what I mean? How do you measure 2 cups of basil? And I think I got this basil like 2 days ago, and it's a little brown, but I think that's actually because of, the freezer. But it's still really good, and you can smell it even from here. Yeah, I don't ever think you can actually have too much basil. I'm sure you can, but I love it so much. And again, I'm basically making 2 to 3 amounts of this recipe, so. Okay, that's all the basil. So next, it calls for 3 garlic cloves. I, of course, do fresh garlic cloves. I love garlic so much. It's probably my favorite spice. Or herb. I don't know what it's considered. I would say it's a spice. Or at least a seasoning. Another fun fact. With garlic, you can actually increase its antioxidant effects, which is basically the healthy part of garlic. Garlic is incredibly healthy. You can increase that by mincing it or cutting it and letting it sit for about 15 minutes. Because this is kind of raw anyways, we don't really have to, I feel like the blender is kind of going to cut it open for us. I'm going to rinse off our cutting board really quickly. Okay, next it wants 1 teaspoon of salt. Again, I don't really need to measure that because salt is for taste. So 3 times that is going to be, let's go with that. And we can add more if we need to. I want to add a tiny bit of oil, not a lot. This isn't in the recipe, but I actually just think that the oil just adds a little bit more liquid. And I like to get a little bit of my omega-3s from extra virgin olive oil. Okay, I'm gonna quiet or mute it a little bit so you guys don't hear the blender. One thing I forgot to add was the spinach, so let me do that really quick. This is actually spinach and arugula, by the way, but I'm gonna dig to get mostly just spinach. But I will throw in a little bit of the arugula because I like that. It has more like kind of a mustardy taste. Okay. That smells good already. Okay. And now one of the most important things to add is pine nuts. This kind of makes it that saucy texture. It says that we need 3/4 cups of raw pine nuts, so this is 1 serving. And 2. I'm actually just going to throw the rest of the bag in since we did a little over 2. I could have just done that, huh? Let's go ahead and try really quick. I was gonna say I tried it from the thing on the lid here. It was a little bit salty, but the rest of it's great. I'm gonna just let it blend out a little bit more. And I'm gonna get the pot and the pan ready for the stir fried veggies, and then the pasta here. Okay, now let's get our veggies ready for the stir fry. Let's start with the onion here. I love red onion. It does give me a little bit of heartburn sometimes, but it's absolutely worth it. am in no way a professional chef, by the way, but I have learned a few tricks on how to cut. So when you do it, you want to fold your fingers in like this, and your thumb should always go under these fingers, and it's almost like pushing the vegetable forward. Gosh, that smells so good already. Okay, my water's boiling, so let's throw the pasta in. Okay, I am basically, again, working around equipment here, so sorry if the angle is not the best, but we brought the water to a boil, and now we're just gonna add the pasta here. And it only needs about 6 to 8 minutes to cook, I believe. And for safety, I'm just gonna cook one thing at a time. But we can throw the veggies into here. Stir once. And while it's finishing up, I'm gonna grab out our strainer. Our pasta is done. And I'm gonna move this pan over to this surface because it's a bit better. And I'm actually gonna switch over to this pan because for some reason this, I don't know, heating area doesn't register that pan. Okay, I'm gonna add a little oil. And then these are the 3 sauces that I put together to make, like stir fry. Hoisin sauce. Apple cider vinegar. And then Tamari Light, which is like less sodium soy sauce. lots of color, which is very good for you. And I'm actually going to throw in my tomatoes that I diced up because I don't really like raw tomatoes. Okay, so it's cooking down a pretty good bit. So I'm gonna actually add in some last minute arugula and spinach just for a little bit more greens. And then I'll throw in the pesto just to warm it up a little bit. And I'm gonna save some of it for the pizza, like I said. Turn it down to a simmer, and I'm gonna add the pasta. We're done. Now I'm gonna kind of garnish it and set up a bowl for myself because I'm so hungry. And I like to add feta cheese. And a mix of pumpkin, chia, flax, and basil seeds. Beautiful. Let's try it. It's so good. And every time you can just add different vegetables. Yeah, you know, it's the same kind of sauce. You can add more basil, more lemon, more salt to kind of play with the pesto. Really, whatever you want. And it's so incredibly good. Please, please try this out. I hope that this video turned out. I hope that this was somewhat informative and you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Goodbye.